All right, Shalom, Shalom. Call Halo Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of God in the Hebrew tongue. Bahashem means in the name of, and Yahushai is the true name of the Son of the Most High, and Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit. And double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, and Shalom to the Ophel elect. We are the true Hebrew Israelites, the so-called blacks, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are God's true chosen people. And of course, Israel is scattered across the four corners of the earth, so you may not look like the typical Israelite. But if this word resonates with you, you are indeed an Israelite. So I'm back with another lesson. And, this is, we're definitely in heavy times. So this is one video that I was watching. But let me go to the elder Apostle Tahar. GMS declaring the end. And, over here in the UK, and let me just pull this up real quick because I had made an article. I had brought this out a couple of weeks ago. So let me just read this heading for you real quick from the Fortune News. So the heading reads, "Prepare for a long and ugly recession, says Dr. Doom, the economist who predicted the 2008 crash." And let me just read this part as well. "One of the first experts to forecast the 2008 recession is sounding the alarm bells that another big economic downturn is on its way. And they're actually projecting that UK economy will collapse by the end of this year." Let me just pull that out real quick. I had it queued up. If I don't find it, that's all right, but I should. Salakia, one moment. There you go. So this is from the Sky News. "UK to enter recession this year, British Chamber of Commerce says." And then here it says the UK will enter recession before the end of this year, with growth expected to be weak in 2024. So they are actually telling you that, look, this economy is getting ready to collapse. And, the elder Apostle Tahar, I'll put the link in the description. Okay, he made this beautiful lesson. And the title of this lesson reads, "The British Pound is Dead. What will replace it?" Because starting off with the elders and the apostles on down have been warning. And ultimately, the scriptures actually says that the words of this book are faithful and true. Let me get that out. So everything that's written in the scriptures, they're faithful and they're true. They're going to happen, whether you believe it or not. And the alarm has been sounding, but eventually there ain't going to be no more alarm. Eventually, these prophecies are just going to happen. That's why the scripture says, "Then shall they know that the prophet had been amongst them," because eventually, and it's going to be sooner than later, man. Because the Lord, he's not going to allow this wicked empire to reign forever. There's an end to this empire, and ultimately the kingdom of heaven is going to be ready to be established. Okay, preach ye that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. This empire has to fall for the kingdom to come. So let me get 2 Ezra chapter 15. It reads, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai." Okay, anytime you bring out the scriptures, people got 101 arguments. Yeah, but the Quran said that. Yeah, but the Egyptian Book of the Dead said that. Well, the difference between the Bible and all these other books is this is the book of prophecy. Okay, that's why the scripture says, "Speak ye thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth." From Genesis to Revelations is prophecies, whether you believe or not. So verse 2, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." Because people are speaking still. When the economy is collapsing, people are still arguing. They still don't believe the CHIP. But whatever, man. The Lord said, don't even worry about that. So this article, the beloved elder brother Baqar Ahmath brought this out. So I'm just bringing this out again. I'll make sure to put the link of his video in the description. He went in depth. But let me just bring this out. So this article from Zero Hedge reads, "Have they gone completely mad? They know that they are killing the economy, but they are doing it anyway." Because when you look at what's happening, they are deliberately collapsing this economy. Why? Just like the elder Apostle Tahar made this video, the British pound is dead. What will replace it? So the question is, why are they doing it anyway? But they are doing it anyway. The reason why is because they want to bring in this new economy. Okay, and it's happening in front of our eyes. So let me read a little bit of this. "They know exactly what they are doing. The experts that run the Federal Reserve know that if they dramatically hike interest rates, it will cause countless American workers to lose their jobs, and it will absolutely crush the housing market. And even though those two things are already starting to happen, they just announced another massive rate hike. If there was a school for central bankers, one of the very first things that they would teach you is that you should never, ever raise rates as an economy is plunging into a recession." Every Fed official knows what has happened in the past when rates have been hiked at the beginning of an economic slowdown, but they are doing it anyway. To call this economic malpractice would be a major understatement, and the American people should be deeply alarmed about what they are doing to us. So let me get this scripture where it says, never trust enemy, because our people need to wake up and understand that we have enemies who are ruling over us. This is why it's important to acknowledge Yahweh Shai. He's the true righteous ruler that should rule over us, okay? Because when righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So let me read Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Nevertheless, never trust an enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And our top enemies are the Edomites. Everything they've done to us is clear as day who our enemies are. So verse 11, though they humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Because our enemy, he comes and he speaks peaceable words, but his actions are as of a dragon, draconian. And real soon, the devil is about to show his horns, as the elders and the apostles and brothers say. Okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It reads, lest Satan, which Satan means adversary, the top adversary of Israel is these Edomites. They're the ones who control the economy. Okay, so the scripture is saying, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You go into that word device, it's synonymous with his plots, his schemes, and his agendas. And when you look at the current state of the economy, we know what the agenda is. Okay, this article came out today. What a weak pound means for your money as sterling hits all-time low against the US dollar. The pound plunged by more than 4% to 1.0327 in early Asia trade today, its lowest level since the dissimulation of the currency in 1971. But what does this mean for you? And they never get to the point. You got to scroll down before they get to the point. What does the falling pound mean for your holiday? If you're heading abroad and the value of the pound is falling, then you won't get as much for your money. For example, at its highest point this year in January, the pound was worth $1.37 against the US dollar, while it hit 1.42 last year. In 2007, pound US dollar exchange rate reached as high as $2.11. The strongest the pound has ever been against the US dollar was in 1972, when it was $2.64. A falling pound could also push the price of goods and services, which in turn could increase inflation rates. So you can see that they're getting ready to collapse this economy, man. It's clear as day, man. This other news article, what it means for your spending, mortgage, pensions, and more. And ultimately, you own nothing to be happy. How many times you got to tell people, man, always making videos, warning, warning, warning. But the scripture says, and I'll end off with that precept, give no rest, Jerusalem, a praise on the earth, man. The Lord told us we ain't supposed to give no rest preaching this truth until he makes Jerusalem a praise on the earth. So Isaiah chapter 62 verse 6, it reads, I have set watchmen, starting off with the elders and the apostles on down, upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. You can see the time is 10:15. Whether it's day, whether it's night, videos are being pushed out. So once again, I've set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, keep not silent. This is why we're doing what we do, man. Because, doing the same thing all day. But it's, Barakati Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because it's happening. It's happening, man. The words of the Lord are faithful and true. And the Lord is ultimately going to reward his men for believing on his word. So verse 7, it reads, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise on the earth. And this economy has to collapse before the Lord makes Jerusalem a praise on the earth. So one more time, my phone is wet because it's raining, Slovakia. One more time, this video, the British pound is dead. What will replace it? You already know, man, the CHIP, whether you believe it or not. The words of the Lord are faithful and true, so they're going to happen. So, with that, I'm going to end this lesson off, and I hope it was an edifying lesson. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakudash. Shalom.